Hey there, boys and girls. How's everybody doing today? On a fine Super Bowl Sunday, nice and sunny here in Cary, North Carolina. Got a few flip inserts left to throw into the roll. Let me go ahead and pop out my chat here so I can make sure I can see everything that's going on. Don't want to miss anybody. Don't want to miss a thing. Somebody famous sang that one time. Farm Dog, Joe McBride, J.O.B., Eric Beyer. How's everybody doing today? Are we all going to tune in tonight, or are we going to tune out and do something completely different? Because you know that it's only about half of the United States actually watches the Super Bowl. The other half does something completely different. It used to be a thing about ads for some people, but ads lately have gotten so stupid. It's really even hard to watch it for the ads. There have been a couple of ads I've seen here and there over the past 10 years that were actually worth tuning in to watch. But most of the ads I've seen in the last 10 years on the Super Bowl have just been stupid. Not even good. For the money, you would have to think so, yeah. Siphon $5 million off of somebody for a 30-second spot. That, to me, that's kind of outpricing the competition, I think. It's kind of outpricing themselves. I can remember there was a time when I made Eagle Scout in 1983. They had a special thing in Memphis at the time where the Scouts paired with a whole bunch of companies for a career day where Eagle Scouts could choose a particular career they thought they would be interested in, and they would be able to go visit this company for an entire day, go to lunch with them, whatever. And my choice was advertising, because I thought I wanted to be an advertising designer. And I went to this advertising company, and they were working on Super Bowl ads. I remember at the time, this was 1983, Super Bowl ads were $250,000. And I thought that was just insane. Thought, absolutely seriously, you're going to spend $250,000 on 30 seconds on TV? Are you crazy? And now it's $5 million. Is inflation that bad? Thank you, Farm Dog, and congratulations to you. I'm actually old enough my medal was made of silver. That's kind of what I'm thinking is by the time they've seen 4 or 5 of the commercials that came on toward the beginning of the game, it's kind of just not worth watching the remainder of the commercials. In fact, I think that repeat commercials by the end of the game, they're into repeating commercials. I don't know if it's because they couldn't fill the spots or if it's because people are actually dumb enough to pay $10, $15, $20 million for advertising. I've never seen any of the Bud Bowl, Puppy Bowl, or other bowl things, the things that other channels do to draw attention away from the Super Bowl. But it's my understanding that some of that stuff is actually fun to watch. I haven't really figured out what's what yet. That's right, 50 years for the Chiefs, and they're back in it. You gonna watch it on demand in the morning? Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up watching it while I pack packages because I've got a lot of stuff to mail off tomorrow. I have the post office bringing a truck out to pick up mail tomorrow because I scheduled a delivery, or I scheduled a pickup anyway. When you schedule a pickup through the Postal Service, they want to know what your package count is and how much the weight is. Well, I don't know what the weight is, so I just estimated it. My estimation was that I had about 75 pounds of mail. That's a lot of mail. It's probably going to be a lot more than that because I know one person I'll be mailing 75 pounds to. So probably I should have gone up a little higher. Anyhow, I've got my Get my flip inserts ready. Got my flips ready. Got my 1950D Cincinnati Federal Reserve wrapped roll right here. I have 50 names that are going to go in the bag, which I do happen to have with me. So here's my 50 names, and here's my bag. I'll put those 50 names inside the empty bag. I got one for the wrapper itself. That's this one right here. Get that wrapper in there. Shake them all up really good. Oh wait, I have to get into uniform here. There we go. Now I have my uniform on. And get my trusty little tool here and start prying at the end of the roll. This is one of the older rolls that I've done. It's a 1950 Denver. I've done a few 1950D rolls now. Don't get a whole lot prior to 1950. They're just not as easy to find in original bank wrapped rolls. I mean, this one is 60 years, 70 years. Wow, 70 years old now. Okay, got one end done. And usually one end comes apart a little bit easier than the other end, and I'm finding that it's this end that's coming apart a little bit easier. Okay, here we go. Wrapper goes over the coins as usual. I'm ready for a smoking hot roll. That's serious. Okay, I see something that looks like maybe a few little spots somewhere on the inside of this roll, but for the most part, the coin's looking nice and red. So hopefully we turn out with a mostly nice red roll. Nice a red a roll. I like a nice a red a roll. All right, coin number one. Let's see who gets coin number one. Hey, coin junkie. Jeff Dunn. Bulldog. Mr. Fletcher's going to get the first coin out of here. Is Mr. Fletcher currently in the house? Hey, Maximus Silverstacker, your wife has taste in football. All right, here we go. Jim Fletcher. Look at the color on that thing. That's beautiful. Really nice looking color. And just a kind of a rainbow of colors on the obverse of this coin. It looks relatively mark free. Looks like it's in really good shape for the end roll coin anyway. That could and should be a good sign for the remainder of the roll. Now we're probably going to come out with some pretty good stuff in it. This is the side that was exposed out. That's why we've got some spotting. I'm not seeing anything else. I think talking is what makes me yawn. I'm not exactly sure what it is. All right, that's coin number one for Jim Fletcher. Well, let's take a look at coin number two. Find out who that's going to. Good morning, Vidal Gonzalez. Levels of Madness. Levels of Madness will get the coin number two in the roll. As I'm looking at it, it appears to be a very nice coin. Looking mostly for repunch mint marks on 1950D. There's not much known for double dies on 1950D. But we're going to take a look at the whole coin just to be sure, one way or the other. Certainly wouldn't want to miss anything. Just a really, really nice colors on these. That's why I'm going back and forth. I'm looking at the luster and the colors shining in the luster. Very nice, clean, uncirculated coin. Most typically, it's going to be RPMs. The RPMs for 1950D are actually pretty nice. And so there's a decent chance of finding good RPMs because there's a number of them listed. Majestic. Majestic Sounds of Coins gets the next coin in the roll. And we have an RPM. It's a nice RPM. That's cute. I don't know which number that one is. I'm not as familiar with these as I probably should be. Let me get out and take a look. Take a quick peek and see which one it is. This is going to be die number one for us for the day, but what RPM is it? It appears to be RPM number 5. So this will be RPM number 5, I do believe. Let me turn it straight up so it's easier to get the... Yeah, I think this is RPM number 5. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. So there we go. We have RPM number 5 as our first die for the day. And at least we're getting something out of this roll. We've had kind of a dry spell lately. It's kind of an unusually dry spell. I hope all the people that were able to get those circulated rolls out of the Fed Reserve bags that I opened the other day get something really nice in them. There's a pretty decent chance of it, actually. Oh, you're talking about change that was wrapped up in 1974. 46-year-old change. Definitely got to have something to it, right? So coin number 3 goes off to the side as our first die variety for the day, and Mr. Majestic's name needs to go inside there with it. There we go. Next coin goes to Steve Looking for Silver. Let's see what Steve Looking for Silver comes out with. We have another RPM number 5. How about that? So that's 2 in a row. RPM number 5. Nice looking RPM too. Being that these coins are pretty nice choice to gem uncirculated coins, we'd be looking at a value somewhere between $10 and $15. That would be a good estimation of retail value on these. So there's a second one. That's Steve Looking for Silver. That's coin number 4, RPM number 5. Steve Looking for Silver, coin number 4, RPM number 5. Next coin goes to Mr. Patat. Mr. Steve Patat. Well, looky there, we have another one. That's 3 coins in a row. This roll's loaded, folks. That's what I'm looking for. It's a happy day. Another RPM number 5 there. Okay, let's flip it over and take a look at the other side. Make sure we don't have any error things to be talking about, or if there's any spots, we need to take a look at those too. See if there's anything that we can do for this coin to make it the best it can be. Nothing there. It's as good as it's going to get. And Mr. Patek gets himself coin number 5, RPM number 5, and roll reveal number 68. RPM re-punched mint mark. Sometimes I skip the idea that maybe some people watching this show have not become familiar with the vernacular. This is not one of them. So next time we come up with one, I'll show you. This is what a normal D mint mark should look like. Just a D punched into the die that transfers over to the coin. You've got a single letter, and that's it. And this is a normal D mint mark right here. I always check these for hub doubling around Liberty because there have been some known instances in this era, in the early 50s, of having hub doubling around the word Liberty. Hub doubling being a doubled die. Design elements doubled during the creation of the die. That's an interesting little die chip right there. Off the N of cent. And we have ourselves a normal coin for Bulldog. Stick this in the flip for Bulldog. That's 3 coins in a row that were repunched mint marks. Let's see if we can go back to that. I like that idea. Paul Hampton. And Paul Hampton has another repunched mint mark. There it is. Now, I'm going to zoom way in on this, especially for the 710 as oil upside down, for the benefit of being able to view what this is. Let me get it focused in really well. There we go. Now, And turn the light on so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. Now you can see here that this is actually more than one mint mark punched together. You can see a bit of a D sticking up to the north. You can see a bit of a D sticking out to the east. And now this RPM is known to be a D over D, not a tripled D. So I'm not exactly sure that we do have RPM number 5 here for sure. Yeah. We definitely have something flying off to the east on this one. Yep, that's definitely raised metal. Huh. And that's odd that... Let me check the markers here real quick and see if I can see anything for markers on this. We don't have a marker between the 9 and the 5 of the date that's listed on Variety Vista. I don't think we have the marker on the inside of the 9. The mint mark position is correct. Huh, that's weird. Let me see if I can bring another one of these coins back in. This is going to be coin number 5. I'll bring it back in and see if I see that thing on the east. So we either have an anomaly on the coin or we have a different die. This is the other coin. See, now this one doesn't have it. And this one does. Where'd it go? Oh, it's around here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Perhaps there's some chance that these are two different dies, but I kind of doubt it. Come on. Oh. Let's get our focus on, folks. Get this thing focused up just right so we can see everything that we want to see. There you go. And you see you have that little horn coming off to the east, makes it look like a third D there. Let's see if we can find a marker on here near the date that we can actually use to assess the damage on the other coin and make sure that they're the exact same die. Okay, so we have that die scratch coming off the top of the one. Let's go take a look at the other coin real quick and see if we've got that same die scratch. We do. That's the same die scratch, but this D doesn't have that little horn. So I have to assume that some form of, I don't know what that would be. It certainly looks like part of another mint mark, but I guess it could be coin damage. It does appear that it must be coin damage. Okay, so we do have 2 Ds punched there, for sure. It's 2 Ds. Hello, Paula. So is it typical for the D to tuck up to the 9 on an RPM? No. No, it's not. Mint marks are punched wherever they're punched. That's pretty much the end of that story. It's the beginning and end of that story. The position of a mint mark doesn't have anything to do with the remainder of the design on the die. Mint marks are independent from the rest of it. It's like a little leather punch with one letter in it. A little leather punch with one letter in it. They punched the die. And if the die didn't take well to that punch, or something else happened that kept it from properly working its way out, they'll punch it again. And they punch it again. If they don't get the alignment perfect between one punch and the next punch, you get an RPM. Repunched mint mark. RPM. Hey, Shannon. Now, let me get the zoom back together, get the focus right on this. There we go. That'll be coin number 7 for Paul Hampton. It's going to be another example of RPM number 5. This will be our 4th one out of this roll so far. It's a 4th one out of 7 coins. So we're better than 50% now, which that's just flat amazing. All right, let's see. PJ Curtis, and see what PJ Curtis gets out of here. This is not one of the RPMs. Not one of the RPMs. It's not a double die lid. I don't see any hub doubling in the motto. This stuff over here that you see above trust, that's actually showing you that this is a later die state die. The edges of the letters toward the rim are beginning to chip away because of the moving molecules of steel and the pressure from the strikes that it's gone through. And when you start getting these striations toward the rim, it starts to wear out the outside edges of the lettering that is being affected by it. And so that's what that is. So that's a matter of die age. Oh, we didn't look at the reverse on this one. I'll flip it over and take a look at the reverse real quick. See if we have anything error-like or a die variety to discuss. To my knowledge, there are no listed double die reverses for 1950 Denver. There are a number of RPMs, at least half a dozen different RPMs. Check here real quick. See if I didn't happen to look at Variety Vista before I started the broadcast here. So let me see if they have anything listed for 1950D double dies. 1950D lists one double die obverse. It's in the BER of Liberty. Points to the south. And for double die reverses, they list none. So there's only one double die obverse listed and 0 double die reverses listed in Coneca. There's another one, normal D. Oh, I didn't draw a name for this one. Draw a name. Mr. Fletcher gets this one. See what else we end up with on here. Looks like I'm not going to find anything of measure on the obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse and see how it worked out. Well, I don't necessarily see much of anything, but that would be par for the course. It's kind of normal. It's sort of what you expect when you find an uncirculated roll, is that you're going to get a number of normal coins. And it's, well, sort of like we only charge premium value for things that are more scarce than others. So repunch mint marks have to be somewhat scarce. There wouldn't be any value to them. There's not one on this coin. And our Liberty area is clean. Nothing on the obverse. Obverse reverse orientation is correct. And we have nothing on the reverse on this coin. Show schedule. This Friday, I will be attending Coin Show near Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be this Friday. And then next Friday and Saturday, I will be in the Spartanburg, South Carolina area attending a show in Spartanburg. Next one goes to Mr. McBride. I'm actually not seeing any hub doubling on this or a repunch mint mark, and there are a couple of pretty heavy hits on this coin. Very unfortunate. So most of the coins that we've pulled out of this roll so far have been in very good shape. This one's just not as nice as the others, and it's also not one of the RPMs. So we ended up with kind of a lost chance there. Hey Paula, Jess's auction is at 3 p.m. Central Time today. 3 p.m. Central Time. Should be 1 o'clock Pacific. Hey, there we go. There's another RPM number 5. This one's for JOB. Nice long concentric die scratch out in front of the eye. That one had to be damaged to the coin itself. Probably if I just took a loop and looked at it with my loop, I would have discovered and realized that. But it sure looked like a horn of a third D sticking out of the east side on that one coin I looked at. Luck of the Irish on your first roll reveal. This is your first roll reveal? JLB? I didn't think it was. You got a nice one, though. That's pretty. Hello, Mantic. How are you doing today, Mr. Shea? Oh, you're only one for this roll reveal. I get it. I get it. Yes, it is your only coin in this roll reveal. All right, Mr. Harmon gets the next one. What does he get? Looks like a normal 1950D Lincoln Cent. Some of these rolls that you have hindsight, and it's like you come into them and you watch the reveal and you're not involved in it. It's like, oh man, I should have got in on that one. And then there's the other ones. We start up the roll reveal and get 30 coins through and you're like, oh, what did I do spending money on this? It's all part of the pool, folks. It's all part of the pool. All right, that's coin number 13, lucky coin number 13. Now coin number 14 will belong to Majestic. And this is coin number 14. Coin number 14 is not a repunchment mark. It is not a double die obverse. 3 p.m. Central Time today, right on this channel, Jessica will be doing Coin Night Live Auctions Weekend Edition. Direct from our Branch Mint studio in sunny Iowa. I hope it's sunny there. It's sunny here in North Carolina. I hope it's sunny in Iowa. I know it's going to be cold. I mean, there's no way around that. It's cold. It's January. Hawkeye. Hawkeye gets the next coin. All the pictures I've seen from Iowa in the last month have had snow on the ground. So, yeah, I'm kind of doubtful that it'll be warm. But I hope it's sunny. I hope it's not there's blizzarding snow on them. They're the worst ever. You get a few inches of snow and then the next day it warms up by like 3 degrees and it's 33 degrees and raining the entire day. How miserable could that be? So here we are. 15 coins into the roll and we finally started to break down our normal RPM to normal coin ratio. There at the very beginning of the roll, I thought we were going to be half and half. But now we're at less than 1/3. Which is where we should expect to be. Anything more than 1/3 of the coins in a roll being RPMs makes it a little difficult to believe that we're actually dealing with an original roll. So, had some light machine doubling on this one, up on the word unum and on the right wheat. A little bit of machine doubling. And there we go on that. So people ask, when is a coin red, when is it red-brown, and when is it brown? Well, rather simple that a brown coin is brown and a red coin is red, but what about red-brown? Well, SRK Iron Man comes next. And we get another RPM number 5. Bam, there we go. So if a coin is more than 95% red on both sides, has to be on both sides, you're counting 95% of the total surface of the coin, then you have a red coin. If it's 90% brown or more, It's 90% red or 90% brown. If it's 90% brown or more, it's considered brown. I said 95, I didn't mean that. 90% red is a full red coin. 90% brown is a full brown coin. Anything in between, red-brown. How do I note red from red-brown and whatnot? Well, it's pretty simple. I've taken on a pretty simple abbreviated grading. Hey, looky there. We have a freebie. SRK Iron Man is going to get the wrapper for this one. There we go. Get him up here. And there he is. There's his wrapper. 1950D. Cincinnati Fed Reserve Bank. The word pennies on this, you'll notice, is a little bit different than I have noticed on most of the wrappers I've seen so far. So, enjoy. Bulldog gets the next coin in the roll. And it is not an RPM. Got some spots on this one. Not such a good thing. A few spots on the reverse as well. So it looks like some of these coins are coming out a little spotty. And that's coin number 18. Moving right along to coin number 19. Coin number 19 goes to Eric Beyer, who I believe is here today. So let's see what Eric gets. This is a different die. So I have a heavy die scratch next to the D there. Take a good look at this one and see what we've got. That way we can remember what it is. Appears not to be a double die or a repunchment mark on the obverse. And the reverse appears to be normal. So we'll know that die next time we run into it. Goes in the freckle book. Sorry, Bulldog. Sometimes they come out nice and sometimes they just don't. Joe McBride. Joe McBride will get the next coin. Let's hope this one's in better condition than his first coin. And it is. Let's see what it is. Looks like a normal coin from here. Looks good from my house. No hub doubling. Got just a little bit of eject doubling going on there. It's where the bottoms of the letters in God We are kind of scraped. They're scraped going in an upward motion. So the die comes down, hits the coin, comes back up, and as it's coming up, the coin is scooped off to the side, which actually catches on the lettering. And when it pulls off, you can see that the coin was scooted while it was caught up in the lettering. That's eject doubling. All right, that's coin number 20. Goes to Joe McBride. Coin number 21. Be for Midnight Silver Run. Oh, I'll flip that over so we see the obverse here. There's coin number 21. Nothing of note other than it's a pretty nice, solid, clean coin. Let's see over here on this side, see what we have. See nothing there. That's coin number 21. It's a nice uncirculated coin. This thing is a choice to gem uncirculated coin. And here comes coin number 22. Hello, SJ's Mixed Adventures. Mr. Dowdle, Stonecutter, will get coin number 22. don't think I remember seeing him in here yet today. So maybe he's kind of sleeping in so he can stay up and party later. Okay, there's nothing going on here. A few spots here and there. Let's flip it over and take a look at the other side and see what's there. And it looks like we've got nothing on the other side. So we will mark this one for Mr. Dowdle. It's coin number 22. We'll put it off to the side. Move on to the next coin in the roll. We're almost halfway there. Almost halfway there. How am I choosing names? I choose names by putting the names on these little placards, these little name cards like that. And then I cut them using my paper cutter, and I put them inside this bag, and I'm pulling them out blindly. They're sitting on my lap, and I just reach in and grab one. So I've got it sitting right down there. I just reach in and grab one and pull it out. And that is who goes next. And this time it will be Deanne. Deanne gets the next coin, which is coin number 23. I have it solved and then it's not. Then I have it solved and then it's not. Trying to get my flip inserts so that you can see the numbers on them as I'm going through the coins in the roll. Anyhow, here's Deanne. Coin number 23. And she gets a normal coin. Normal coin for coin number 23. Where do I get the names from? Tuesday evenings during the auction, I announced the sale of these rolls, and you purchase coins in these rolls during the Tuesday evening auction. You're purchasing coins from rolls that have not yet been opened. I open the rolls during these shows and pull your name out to be fair as to who gets what coin in what position. So Deanne paid for a spot in this roll last week during the Tuesday night auction. And now we are opening the roll. And I just looked at the coin Deanne purchased out of the roll. I put her name in the flip insert with the coin and put it off to the side. Then I ship it to her. Doug Reese gets the next one. What does Doug Reese get out of here? Looks like a slightly spotty normal 1950D Lincoln cent. They can't all be winners. I don't like the spots. This coin's got spots, and I don't like spots. There's a little bit of grease filling right there. You can see how the back side of the E is missing. And then there's that speckled, mottled look. That's the dirt and grime in the clump of whatever was stuck to the die when it struck this coin. That kept the design from striking up all the way, which is why we're missing most of the back of the E of 1. But that's what that is. That's grease filling the die. That thing on the O is not from grease. That's actually damage on the coin. You moving, SJ? Moving from state to state or just from one house to the next? Because if we're moving state to state, man, I hate that. Man, it's a fun adventure, but man, it's expensive and it's very difficult to do. All right, Mr. Marshall gets the next coin in the roll. What does Mr. Marshall get? Looks like it's going to turn out to be a normal 1950D that's in pretty decent shape. Just a few miles down the road. I don't mind that nearly as much as I mind moving state to state. And it seems like lately, a lot of my moves have been state to state. I moved from Missouri to Florida, back to Missouri, back to Florida, to a different part of Florida, and then to North Carolina. Very seldom have I actually just moved down the street. do need to register. Registration is to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. All you have to do is register by telling us what your real name is, what your YouTube screen name is, and what the email address is that we're going to send an invoice to for your winning bids through PayPal. So you need to have a PayPal account. That's the only payment style that we accept right now. This is a little spotty too. Yes, I've been moving most of my life. I think I lived in at least 10 different houses before I graduated high school. I could count them all up, but I'm sure it's close to 10. Now, I've lived in a lot of different places since I graduated high school because I went in the military. I spent 10 years in the military traveling the world and moving from base to base. And I got out of the military, and I've still been moving from place to place to place. Raymond Longy. Raymond Longy will get the next coin. So it does not appear to be an RPM or a double die. There is a little die break coming off the Eye of Liberty, swinging down to the southwest there from the top of the Eye of Liberty. Looks like a feather hanging off of the eye. Let's see what we have here. It appears that we have nothing on the obverse, or nothing on the reverse, and nothing on this coin. It is a relatively nice coin. That's coin number 27. That'll be for Mr. Longy. Oh, guess what I did? I forgot to stop halfway through. Let's go ahead and stop now. Take a few minutes out. Take about 5 minutes out. Let you take a break, get a drink. Take a drink, or go to commercial, like what we're doing now. Be sure to check out and subscribe to Mantic Coins on YouTube, where host Shay Hoffmaster takes you through a fun-filled tour through numismatics to include coin auctions, educational videos, live roll hunts, and much more. Come join in the educational fun with Shay. Search Mantic Coins on YouTube and subscribe today. The best in online auctions just got better. Now you can enjoy Coin Night live auctions twice weekly with the addition of CNLA Weekend Edition with your host, Jessica Johnson. All the same excitement and the same great deals with a new host and at a new time. Come join in the fun this weekend. Now that last commercial is for Jessica Johnson Penny Parents auction, which is coming up at 3 o'clock today, Central Time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern. And there you have it. Yep, she is the one who has the mixed personality disorder issue. Here we go. Coin number 28 goes to Hawkeye. Hawkeye will get the next coin, and it appears to be a normal 1950 D Lincoln cent. It's in pretty decent shape. Seems to be slightly earlier die state than a number of the others that I've seen. The outside edges of the lettering, especially the 0 and the date, appear to be rather clean and sharp. That tells you when your coin is a slightly earlier die state. An earlier die state coin is going to have nice sharp details on it. You see how these details are starting to wear thin toward the edges? Starting to spread out like taffy? That is a later dice date coin. So your coin, I guess we shouldn't say later dice date coin because, well, you can have mixed just like this when you have an earlier dice date on the obverse and a later dice date on the reverse. That just means that the dice were not changed out at the same time. Hello, Victoria. Jessica always does a great job. You want a good friend to have is Jessica. Can always count on her. She's very trustworthy. She's a great person. She's got a hell of a personality. She's a really good friend to have. Although once in a while you do have to work with her hard-headedness. Just a little. But we love her. Good book to get for referencing Lincoln Cents. Well, Farm Dog, I can tell you that one of the better books I have ever read about the Lincoln Cent is a book that I wrote. And the reason I say it's one of the better ones is because I wrote the book I wanted to read. And it's called Looking Through Lincoln Cents, A Chronology of a Series. It was published in 2005 by Zyrus Press. You can still find it on Amazon or on eBay once in a while. I don't happen to have any copies of it for sale. But it is locatable from time to time. I do understand that it seems to be selling for quite a hefty price. Oh, look at that. That's a nice little struck through right there. That's a deep one, too. Looks like a rim burr of some sort struck through a rim burr or something to that effect. That's definitely not a scratch on the coin. You can see that the bottom of that canyon is very jagged looking. So we're not talking about a scratch. There's no drag lines. There's no furring on the outside. So it's definitely a struck through. That's something that got struck into the coin and then pulled out of the coin. That's pretty cool. Now this one will be for Shannon. In case you might have missed that, Shannon, you are receiving a nice little struck through reverse. Well, hello, Mr. Reese. Yes, I was an artist in a past life. That's why you get all these nice, wonderful looking packaging and these flip inserts and stuff like that, is because I'm a graphic designer and I do graphic stuff, but I also do drawing, and I like to do drawings. Don Harmon. Don Harmon gets the next coin in the roll. That is not a struck through. That is a heavy hit on the coin. There is quite the difference that may be a little difficult to spot at first. But this looks like it was mashed. A little bit of a furring on the outside edge of that. You can see where the line is a little brighter. Okay, so let's tip it over and take a look at the other side. Yes, the title of the book is called Looking Through Lincoln Cents. The subtitle is A Chronology of a Series. And basically what it does is it goes through some basics about grading and about sorting, and then tells you the basics about double dies and repunchment marks. Then it gets into a year-for-year study of all of the different years of Lincoln Cents from basically 1909 up through 2004. 2004 is when The date cuts off because, well, that's when the book was written. Hello, American Woodland Relics. American Woodland Relics. Does that tell me that you are an arrowhead hunter? Adam Chambers gets a RPM number 5. It's been a while since we've seen one of those come out of the roll. What do we have now? We have, this makes number 7. This makes the 7th one of these come out of this roll. Oh, who left the door open? Chris got in. Mr. Rhodes. We're finding an RPM in this roll. It's a cute RPM. Hunt anything of interest. I get that. I get it and I understand it. I was out hunting arrowheads one time and I ran into a gully, a gulch that had a bunch of railroad ties in it. I started looking at the railroad ties and I noticed these little nails in there that had 2 digits of a date on them. So railroad ties were basically rotting. They were just kind of laying in the ditch rotting. So I pulled out some of these nails and took them home. Asked my uncle what they were. He tells me, oh, those are date nails. So he told me all about the whole date nail thing, about the date that the rails were laid and all that kind of stuff. And it was interesting to me. So I started collecting date nails. Yeah, I was a collector at large. So I found a couple of broken arrowheads that day. Didn't find much of anything else. But I did pull a whole bunch of date nails from the 1920s and 30s. All right, got nothing on that side. Let's take a look at the other side and see what we come out with. Obverse to reverse alignment are correct. This is a very clean looking coin. This one's outstanding for condition. Let me take a better look at this coin without the aid of a microscope. Very nice coin. Nice, 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 Taco J. That'd be Taco John. I don't put Taco John on there because Taco John is too long. Unless I made it one word, then it would look like Taco John. Yeah, that is the third in a series of designers of United States coins that I drew. The first one, hey look, there's another RPM number 5. This one goes to Wild Bill. The first one I drew was VDB, Victor David Brenner. I did that for the possibility that I might be able to use it in a book that I was writing about the Lincoln Cent, and I never finished the book. So I never used the drawing for that, but there was such a high demand for prints of that drawing, I decided to do more. So I listed about the 12, 15 most predominant coin designers of United States coins and posted a list of them on a website as a poll and got back a list from the most popular down. This one's going to be Wild Bill as well. And the second one on the list was Augustus St. Gaudens. So I drew Augustus St. Gaudens second. And then I did a portrait of Longacre because he came out third. And then the list kind of went by the wayside because I was asked personally by Dave Bowers to do a drawing of John Flanagan for the quarter for his book on quarters. So we got that done, put that in there, and then I moved on to number 5. This is the same coin again. I just want to make sure that I looked thoroughly at the reverse because when I get talking, sometimes I miss one side or the other or forget what I saw. Hello, Brian's World Mechanic. Ken Peavy. Winning combo, tacos and naps. But you don't take your tacos to bed with you, do you? So you take your tacos to bed with you, you get crumbs everywhere. I prefer not to do it that way. I eat my tacos at the table and then I go take my nap. And I do take my naps. Do not take my naps away from me. I don't think there's any way I could be in the military now. Like I used to stay up for 36 hours at a time, no big deal. I get tired, but I could stay up a day and a half, 2 days. Heck, now I don't think I can stay up from 8 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon without taking a nap. That's, I mean, I don't even have to be doing anything. It's just nap time. Found a 59D RPM number 1 in one of the rolls. Awesome. Farm Dog gets coin number 37. It's coin number 37 in the roll. We have been finding RPM number 5 in this roll. RPM number 5 was actually really cool. A really nice looking RPM. This is not one of them, but it is a nice coin. Got a little bit of machine doubling up on the left side of E Pluribus Unum. A little more machine doubling there on the left side of the United and of. You can always tell machine doubling because you don't have any splits in the serifs. So if you take a look at this right here, see how your corner on the M there is just kind of curved inward? And it has a slightly different shape than your doubling does? That's because your doubling is basically a bite that's been chewed out of the normal relief of the M. So you have a normal thickness of an M if you look all the way across both parts of that quote-unquote doubling. You have a normal M. And then your doubling is actually a big bite chewed out of the side of the letter. So you don't really have doubling. You've just got a normal M there with a bite chewed out of the left side of it. If you look at your U, you get the same thing. You have a normal U with some stuff chewed out of the left side of it. No notching, though. What do I mean by notching? I can show you. I'll show you what I mean by notching. We're going to go into a slight class here about double dies. This is what I mean by notching. Let's get focused, folks. There we go. That's notching right there. That's a double die. 1947 double die obverse Lincoln cent. This is FS 101. It is a cherry picker listed variety. Let me see if I can get really good focus in close. There we go. Now you can see notching. There's real notching right there on the corner of the 1. That's notching. You got notching on the inside of the 9. That's notching. Look at there on the 4 and on the 7. That is absolutely classic double die notching. Now remember what you're looking at there, because what you're looking at is 2 4s put together slightly off kilter from one another. If you take 2 pieces of paper and you stack them on top of each other and slide one slightly to the upper and to the left, or upper and to the right, you're going to get the same basic appearance on the corners. You're going to have a piece cut out of the overall shape. This one is, I do believe it's a class 5. Let's see here. It's either class 5 or class 1. I think this is a class 1. Class 1 rotated hub doubling. And it's that because you have doubling going all the way around the design of the coin. It is a little bit stronger on one side than the other. It's a little bit stronger by the date than anywhere else. But that's also the case with 1964 double die reverse number 1. It's very, very strong across the United States of America, but when you look at 1 cent toward the bottom of the design, it gets really weak, but they're still doubling down there. And that makes it a class 1 rotated hub doubling double die. This is what it looks like when you back off of it just a little bit. I wanted you to be able to see what that notching looked like way up close. But this is indeed a double die. And that's what it looks like when you see a double die with notching. Corners of the letters have actual little notches taken out of them. This is not a double die. This is the subject that we're discussing here. Now you can really see the difference. There's no notching at the corners of these letters. Everything looks like just one side of it's just been mashed down. And that's your machine doubling right there. All right, so now we had that little class for the day. Don't you feel smarter? I do. I get educated when people ask me questions. You know how I get educated? I get educated. Hey, Coin Dragon. I get educated because people ask questions, and then I know what people don't know. Because I've been doing this stuff for so long. This particular scope uses its own lighting. It is its own little beast. The microscope I generally use is a regular stereo optical microscope that does not have any electronics, no lighting or anything. It's just a microscope. And it has an Echolight 150 rheostat controlled 150 watt halogen light with dual fiber optic light guides. I got it from coinoptics.com many years ago, and I don't think he's in business anymore, but you could actually try that, coinoptics.com. And this particular light box is about a $500 item. They do not come cheap. But it has fiber optic light guides. I actually attempted to build fiber optic light guides one time, and it did not work. You'll take one of those 47s. Well, Coin Dragon, it will be available for sale soon. It will come up on the auctions. So you need to get out of Texas and get back to New York and think about what you're doing. Spending all that money going to Padre Land. Get yourself a 47 double die. Hopefully you had a great time with Shay yesterday or day before, whenever that was. I didn't notice the feed until it was over. Or I would have come in and said hello to you guys. Was that yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Oh, I'm sure it was fun. I think it would be really fun to sit down next to Shay at his computer too. He could teach me a lot of stuff about how he does what he does. That was Taco John's last coin in the row. Move on to coin number 40. Coin number 40 will go to Hawkeye. Hawkeye PA. Let's see what we have here. Looks like a normal 1950D Lincoln cent that is uncirculated and in pretty good condition. It's a pretty nice condition. A little bit of circular die scratches running around on the cheek there. Kind of helps you pinpoint exactly where the center of that design is. It's going to be right on the jawline, right on the back of the jaw underneath the ear is exactly where the center of the design is. And here's the reverse. Nice clean looking red reverse with decent luster. Hello, Wild Bill. What have you missed? Well, let's see. We've been pulling RPM number 5 out of this roll. It's 1950D, RPM number 5. And I can't remember. We did get one for you. This is your coin, Wild Bill. Need it focused here without my pad underneath. That's RPM number 5. You got one of those in your pull. This is Wild Bill's coin. So that's what you missed. And we need to move on to coin number 41. Coin number 41 is going to be Steve looking for silver. What kind of scope would I suggest for a beginner coin collector? You know, there are a number of these digital microscopes, kind of like what I'm using, that are not expensive. And for someone just getting into it, I think that would be a pretty nice way to go. I don't really know much about them because I haven't really purchased and studied very many of them. The digital microscope that I have is probably not beginner level because it's over $500. They sell them for well under $100, and I'm sure that there's people out here who would be able to tell you a scope that they have used or they do have that was inexpensive, sometimes under $30, $40, that actually works pretty well. They're USB. They usually have a little stand that comes with them. Let's see here. Doug Reese gets the next coin. What does Doug Reese get? Come on, RPM. Nope. Nope, not an RPM. Not gonna do it. Well, let's see there. Looks as though we have a normal obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse. Everything I see looks normal on the reverse. I know that there are very inexpensive microscopes out there, the digiscopes, digital microscopes. I happen to publish a lot of the pictures I take. I happen to publish a lot of the stuff I do, and I have to really watch my lighting and watch my control over lighting for publications. Hey, there we go. SRK Iron Man gets an RPM number 5. Definitely an original roll. We've now pulled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 of these out of this roll. Really nice RPM too. Amscope makes nice microscopes too. But for instance, what you're seeing on screen right now is something that I couldn't publish. It's too mushy. It doesn't have enough resolution. Same thing works with like most of the cheaper microscopes. It's kind of like having a cheap loupe. You can see it, but it's not the highest quality. And in order to get really good quality, you have to have pretty expensive machinery. And that is a downfall to the people who like to publish stuff, because the people who publish stuff with the, well, let's say underperforming type microscopes for publication, they end up publishing things that are mushy and very difficult to make out and hard to see. And then you go to the people who actually spend really good money to get higher quality optics. They end up publishing really nice looking stuff, nice looking photos and nice looking images. And therein lies your difference, is the actual publication quality of your instrumentation. I prefer to have the very high quality stuff, so I don't even buy the collector grade microscopes or loops or anything else. I'm straight after the best stuff I can get because, well, I'm a professional in the business. There are a ton of them out there, and my best suggestion is to get something. Just try something out. Ooh, this one's not pretty at all on the reverse. I just picked this up and it's not so pretty. This is Jeremy. It is an RPM number 5. This will be for Jeremy Johnson. The obverse is pretty nice looking. With the reverse, I kind of cringed when I picked it up. This looks like it sat somewhere, like at the bottom of a bag for a while it was waiting to be rolled. Not as pretty as I would like for it to be, but it is another one of the RPMs. And this one will be going to Mr. Jeremy Johnson. Next person is number 46, Adam Chambers. Adam Chambers will get the next coin in the roll. And what do we have? We're back on this die that has a really strong die scratch next to the D, but nothing else. Yeah, American Woodland Relics. It looks nice. It's pretty nice. It has a lot of white flash. If you look in the bottom left corner of the image right now, you're seeing that it's all just like digital white. That's not such a great thing. You notice that right here, for instance, if I was to take a picture of it like this, capture this picture, you're talking about something that doesn't have full and complete focus. You're talking about something that has white flash in different areas. I could take care of some of the white flash by turning the light down. But then you have a lot of darkness. And even when it's in perfect focus, best focus that you can give, it's a nice looking picture on screen. But if you try to, and your screen is 96 pixels per inch or 72 pixels per inch. And if you try to publish this in, say, a magazine, magazines have a screen of 350 dots per inch or 300 dots per inch on typical printers. And so you're basically taking each pixel and dividing it into thirds. And once you take all these pixels and divide them into thirds or fourths, you end up with a fuzzy looking picture. Low resolution is what they call it. And that's basically what you end up with when you have this type of scope and you're trying to do high resolution work with a scope like this. It just doesn't come out right when you're publishing. I like to have total and complete control over my lighting. I like to be able to turn my light in any direction I want to catch whatever shadow or whatever notching or anything else that I'm looking to catch. And this particular scope has basically automatic lighting. It doesn't allow you to control the lighting at all. So there's a number of little things that just don't work on this scope for publication purposes, for like putting them in books or magazines. But that's also because I have a very discerning eye for publication quality material. I've been doing this for quite some time. I've published some of the worst pictures and some of the best pictures I've ever seen. And I know the difference when I see them. And that's part of the issue that I have, is that I've become very picky over the years with what I will and will not publish. I want to publish something that shows you everything you need to see, leaves you nothing to guess at, and gives you absolutely everything you could imagine that you'd want to see out of something. A lot of the photos I see published these days, especially ones on the internet, they leave a lot to guessing. I don't like you guessing at anything. If I'm trying to teach you something, I don't want you to have to guess about it. There's another RPM number 5. This one goes to Hawkeye. Jessica is back. Hello, Jessica. Nice looking RPM number 5 there. flip it over and take a look at the other side. This is coin number 48. We have 2 coins left in the roll. No errors on that side to speak of. Not a worry in the world, American Woodlands relics. Or American Woodland relics. American Woodland. That's going to be southeast, correct? Southeastern U.S. Like the woodland native tribes, Cree, the Crow, the Chickasaw, Choctaw, Georgia. Okay. So I was kind of right. Ooh, got fingerprinting looking on that one. It's not nice. It's not nice at all. Got nothing else on this one. Georgia. I'm not very far from Georgia. In fact, I live in a state that touches Georgia. I've been across the border from Georgia to North Carolina. It's not a very long border, but it was a border nonetheless. Highway 19 coming out of Georgia. I was coming up from Lumpkin County. I had just visited Dahlonega, and I was going north from Dahlonega into North Carolina to do a little bit of gem hunting. What was this one? It was not the RPM. Okay. So here's the last coin in the roll. The last coin in the roll will go to Kelly Michaud. Kelly Michaud is one of our Canadian brothers. And we do not have the RPM. As we look around the coin, we're seeing one that looks relatively nice for a roll ender, but it is a little spotted. And that's because it's a roll ender. And we are done. This is it for this roll. Dahlonega is 30 to 40 minutes to the west of you. Oh, so you're in Cleveland. All right, so Kelly gets a normal coin. We have a number of normal coins in this roll. So a recap on the roll. These are our normal coins out of this roll. And then our repunch mint marks are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 repunch mint mark RPM number 5. That's 1mm005 RPM number 5. It is not a cherry picker listed variety, so it's not one that PCGS will grade as an RPM. We have had lots of rain in North Carolina lately. But today is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. No, it wasn't a bad roll. It was a nice roll. It's a little bit better than average. However, not a lot better than average. I like the ones that are a lot better than average. I like the rolls that make you dance. So I've got something coming in that'll be coming in sometime in the next week or so. It's going to be a mystery. It's actually going to be a $5 sealed bag that has something about Washington, D.C. on the outside, and the bag has a lead seal on it, and nobody knows what the contents of the bag are. We're going to find out what the contents are in a reveal. No telling right now exactly when that reveal will be. I think it's going to be a couple of weeks from now. But it's going to be a nice one. I can tell you that for sure. See if I can get you a picture of this bag. No, I don't have a picture I can put up right now. But it's a sealed bag of 500 coins. It even says 500 coins or 500 count sealed bag. Let's see. Next reveal, I have a couple of inexpensive rolls that we're going to do. I have a 1964 Philadelphia. I have a 1960 Philadelphia. I have some 1960D. I have a 1962D. And I also have a couple of 1956D rolls. I've got a 1956D roll from the Vandiver estate. I have a 1957D roll from the Vandiver estate. Yeah, $5 Charlotte Gold. I tell you what, folks, if that's Charlotte Gold in there, I can tell you now you want to get in on that reveal. Because I think we're going to do those at $1.50 a coin. Hello, Hector. Yeah, you're a little late. We're already done with the reveal. That's why the desk is clean. But I've got a number of rolls that I'll be doing over the next week or so. I have a lot of product to get packaged and moved out. I've got a lot of reveals, and I've got a lot of rolls that have sold over the last couple of weeks. I've got a lot of singles that have sold over the last couple of weeks. If you are waiting on a package from me and have not received it, it is likely going to be headed out of here within the next 24 to 48 hours. Yes, JLB, I do believe they are still for sale on Etsy. But you can also find them. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, I can do it. Let me do this. Bring over my trusty keyboard here so I can type. And then I'll do a display capture. There you go. So this is my website, cdaughtry.com. You have to spell Daughtrey right. But this is the, if you start at the bottom down here and work your way up, this is actually the first one that I did, the second one, the third one, and moving on up that way. And like, for instance, you can click on any one of these and see a larger detail of areas of the drawing. Shut that down. So this is the Augusta St. Gaudens. You can take a look here, and you can see some detail from the drawing. The drawings are 11 by 14 portrait-sized drawings. They frame well at 16 by 20 with a mat. Here's the one that I did for Dave Bowers. Here's his eyeglasses. There's James Earl Fraser, Adolph Weinman, Herman McNeil, George Morgan, and then Anthony DeFrancisci. Anthony DeFrancisci was the designer of the peace dollar. So we have the peace dollar, the Morgan dollar. We have the Standing Liberty quarter. We have the Walking Liberty half dollar and the Mercury dime. The Buffalo nickel, the Washington quarter. 12 different designs. So he did the 2 cent, the 3 cent, the $3, the Flying Eagle. There's a whole bunch of different ones. He did the shield nickel, Indian head cent. It's probably what he's best known for in the copper world, is doing the Indian head cent and the Flying Eagle. And then this guy, his most famous designs were on two different coins, $10 gold and the $25 gold, or the $20 gold. $10 gold and the $20 gold. Neither design he saw actually released because he passed away prior to them being released in 1907. And then the first one that I did is Victor David Brenner. So I had those designs. If you are interested in purchasing any of these, do not purchase them from the website. Come to me directly, cd@coppercoins.com. cd@coppercoins.com, and we can work out a way that I can give you a discount because you watch me live. Bag sale. I'm not sure because it's being shipped to me and I have no idea exactly when I'm going to receive it. So it will probably be the following Tuesday before I sell them. And I appreciate everyone's comments on the drawing. It's not a mint bag. This one is, I believe it's some sort of a Fed Reserve bag, but I am not sure. It appears to be very old, so I don't really know exactly what's in it. It has a lead seal on it that was crimped by a government lead seal crimper, because I used to work for the government and I used lead seals and I know what those look like. And it has a cup cap on it that keeps the lead seal from damaging the bag underneath. So while it's not a mint bag, it is a sealed bag by the government. I have no idea when this bag is from, but the lettering on the bag kind of indicates to me that it comes from the 30s or 40s. But I'm not sure. I have no idea when. That's the whole thing. We have no idea what's in this bag. We have no idea what's going to come out of it. So whatever comes out of it, we're going to share in the windfall, or we're going to share in the loss. I mean, because I'm not going to change what I'm charging for it. If it's could be a 1931S bag, or it could be a 1960D bag. Either way, we're going to be doing those at $1.50 per coin. I may do the entire bag. I may just do a marathon where I do the entire bag. It's going to be a total of 500 coins. So 500 spots might actually come available. Depends on exactly how I decide to handle it. I might sell the whole bag out and I might not sell the whole thing because, well, frankly, doing 500 spots out of a bag, I don't know. We might get started. We might see what we do when we get started, and then I might cut the live broadcast short and finish the bag off camera after we get a really good indication as to what's in the bag. If it turns out that there's a lot of value in it, then we'll continue with the live broadcast. But if it turns out that it's, I don't know, say a 1957D bag, and we've been through 3/4 of the 200 coins that I planned on selling in the beginning, it might be some type of a deal where I'll do 200 coins and then I'll do the other 300 coins off camera and just email you and let you know what you got. I don't know. We'll have to see. Exactly. American Woodland Relics has it right on the money. You get coins that have little hits on them, little dings and stuff like that. That doesn't mean someone's been carrying it around in their pocket. It just means that the mint beat it up before they put it in the bag and shipped it out, or it got beat up inside the bag. Because you notice how, well, prior to 2002, all Lincoln cents were dumped into $50 bags, canvas bags, or, well, prior to 2002 and then up to a certain point in time, going back into the 50s, I think. They were put into $50 bags, 5,000 coins per bag, then they were tossed onto a pallet. They were wrapped onto the pallet, they were put into a truck, into trucks using a forklift, and then they were trucked to a location where they were dumped into another hopper and fed into wrappers, and then those wrappers were dumped into bags and sealed into bags and shipped out to banks. So, I mean, you can imagine how many times these coins were jostled around, banged around, and everything else before they actually got to you. And we're still finding coins in rolls that were done that way that are turning out to be MS-66, MS-67 coins. It's amazing how resilient these coins are. A 1909 SVDB bag. I would hope so. Good gosh. 09S VDB bag, we would be doing top page news in all the newspapers around the country that I was selling 1909S VDB Lincoln cents for $1.50 a piece. That would be more sweet than sweet. I tell you what, we'd also crash the value of the coins. I mean, there were only 484,000 made. And given that there was only 484,000 made, we're just taking 500 out of the 484,000 that was already out there. But if they turn out to be MS65 red coins, we're going to do damage to the value of a 65 red, that's for sure. These could also just be circulated coins. They could be circulated coins that were put in a bag in Washington, sealed up, and somebody got a hold of them, stuck them someplace, and they're just now coming back out. And they could be circulated coins that were put into the bag in, I don't know, it could be as early as the 1935 or 1940. You imagine circulated pennies from 1940 going backward. You're talking about stuff in the teens, 20s. You're talking about S-mints. You're talking about Indians. You could have Indians back into the 1860s and 70s. It could be very interesting. Could be very interesting. But we're going to find out one way or the other, because we're going to end up opening this bag. But I have to get it in first before I can make any promises. So I'm not going to sell any of it until I know I actually have it in my hand. 2019 die cracks, very, very, very common. Just about, probably like 3/4 of all the coins I've ever seen from 2019 have die cracks on them. So that's a very highly common thing. Okay, Chris. These hunts are actually really, really cool. They're really fun to do. And I really enjoy the idea of being able to go through uncirculated or actually mystery material. Let's just call it mystery material. Some of it's uncirculated, some of it's circulated, some of it comes from mints, some of it came from some old man that wrapped up a 1955 bag back in 1956 and set him aside, and here I'm finally going through one of the rolls that he pulled out. Never know what you can end up with. Hey, Lady Spitfire. And so when we go through these, I have no idea what's in these rolls. I really don't. And for me, it's a matter of, I mean, like today's 1950D roll. I had these visions of sugar plums dancing through my head as I was washing my hands prior to coming in and starting the broadcast, that the whole roll was going to be RPMs and the whole roll was going to be really sweet. We're going to discover a new double die and all that kind of stuff. It'd be really cool, but that rarely ever happens. To get an RPM in an original roll is actually a kind of an unusual thing. It's a nice thing. Let's see what Chris sent to me here. Wow. And that's a 70D. It's pretty interesting. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So let me turn this on. So Chris is going through rolls of Lincoln cents that we, I don't know, one point in time or another I sold them to him. I don't remember exactly when it was because I sell so many rolls, but it's an uncirculated, or it's actually a circulated copper. He got it out of a circulated copper roll. And there's one side of it. And it looks relatively normal when you look at that side, but then when you look at this side, you can see what I'm talking about. It's a little bit different. Certainly is. This thing did not get a very strong strike. It does it appear to be understruck, or does it appear to be a grease-filled die? It looks like it's understruck to me. Very weak strike on that. Very interesting little air coin. I'd definitely keep that one if I pulled it out of a roll. That was from a roll that I sold and shipped to Chris. I love it when people come to me and tell me what they found in the stuff that I've put together for them, because it's like I had no idea that was going to be in there, you know. No idea at all. It says it weighs 3.1 grams. A greasy ghost. $1864 repunch date and eBay lot a few years ago. Didn't know it until you had bought a scope. Well, it is related. It is and it isn't. I mean, you could end up going through that. That's how I found my very first double die ever. My very first double die ever was a 1939 Jefferson nickel double die reverse. I wouldn't have even known it existed except that I found it in the new Red Book one year. I think I bought a brand new Red Book in 1982 or 83. It's my first new Red Book. And it had listed in there 1939 double Monticello. And I'm like, well, I wonder what that means. Does it mean the building is doubled or what? So I popped my 1939 nickel out of my nickel folder. And sure enough, the word Monticello was heavily doubled on the reverse. I was sure I had the right thing. I showed it to my friend, and he says, well, I didn't even know that existed. I said, well, I didn't either until I saw this book. And that's how my double die hunt began. Was actually that I had pulled a 1939 nickel out of my mother's purse, who knows when, stuck it in my nickel folder. Then I got a new book, Red Book, a brand new 1982 or 83 Red Book. I looked under the cover, found that there was a 1939 double Monticello Jefferson nickel. So I popped the coin out, took a look at it, and sure enough it was. I had that coin for a number of years before someone finally talked me out of it, who was a Jefferson nickel collector. I didn't really care that much about nickels, never did. I have two cursors on my screen. I'm chasing my two cursors around, trying to figure out which one's my real cursor and which one's the Memorex cursor. You sent me pictures, Eric? Is that through email, or had to be through email, wouldn't it? Which email address did you use? cd@coppercoins.com? Let's see what we got here. It's trying. No, I do not have anything from you yet. Send it on Facebook. I'm not seeing anything from you on Facebook. Did you send it to, probably sent it to Coppercoins? Let me go check the inbox on Coppercoins and see if it's in there. Nope. Nothing in there. So did you send it to me? Because I don't see it there either. I don't see any messages from you, Eric. Oh, you know what? Hang on. There we go. It's under requests. Yeah, okay, that's what kind of bag it is. So what did you say that is? Assay office? This is what we're looking at. Thanks to Eric Beyer for sending in this image. This is exactly the type of bag that I will be getting that is sealed by the government. Still has 5,000 coins in it. Return this bag to the Treasurer, U.S., Washington, D.C., 20220. And the seal on it is an actual government lead seal. $19.72p. Huh. Okay. I kind of expected it. You know what? There's a zip code on it, 20220. That tells you it's after 1967. I didn't even think about that. I wonder if this one that I was looking at, I can't reveal who it's coming from or where it came from yet, because I don't have it. I have to get it first. Take a good close look at it and see what we end up with. Oh, I did have photos of it. Ah, there we go. Yeah, this does have the zip code on it, so it is after 1967. So you have a $10 bag that was sealed as well? Did it come with a lead seal? Was it like this? That's a government style seal right there. Oh, you know it. Uncirculated 72 DDOs. Given that it's a Washington, D.C. address to turn the bag to, it's probably Philadelphia minted cents. So I would think anything else would be the assay office in San Francisco. You sent a picture of the seal? So it was this type of seal that was on it, and there were 72. Well, that could be what we're ending up with here. Could be a 72 bag. That would be really nice. We'll just have to see what happens with it. Oh, okay. I see it now. We have a $10 bag. And it says, does it say P72 on it? Is that what it says? The writing on it? I didn't know there were $5 and $10 bags. Huh. Very interesting. You learn something new every day, folks. I'm still learning. I can tell you that for sure. I don't know everything. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. We have a Penny Parent with just about 1 hour to go before... Actually, 2 hours. Just about 2 hours to go before her broadcast starts on this channel. And I need to go ahead and get finished with the rest of my Sunday work so that I'll be finished when the game comes on, because I'm definitely going to be watching the game. So what I will do... Is there anything I haven't done when it comes to pennies or coins? There are a lot of things I haven't done, but I have authorship of some books. I've written the foreword to another book. I have photo credits in other books, and I have art credits in other books. Altogether, I have credits and or I wrote some of over a dozen different books. Have I ever filled up my tub and swam in all of my unk wheats? That would be painful. I have not done that. I'm sure you're asking because you want to try it and you're not sure what kind of soap to put in there, right? Chuck McDuck. Oh, well, there's his problem. He's a Deadskins fan. You can see who my team is. Of course, I didn't end up with a Super Bowl experience this year, but yeah, the Deadskins. Your team belongs to an entire conference that I am not very happy about existing. Because you got the Giants, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Deadskins. I just don't like any of those teams. Mint State Numismatics, how you doing? How you doing? Doing good. We got 34 people watching. It amazes me how many people will sit and watch me open a roll of coins and then blabber. It's just amazing. You want to swim in a demolition derby? Or you want to perform in a demolition derby? You want to be one of those people driving the car around in reverse trying to beat up other people's cars. I want to do it with, like, airbags, glass, the whole 9 yards, and brand new, like, Audis and BMWs and cars like that. That's the demolition derby I want to do. Don't give me a old beat-up 1978 Ford with no windows in it. A hearse or an ice cream truck. Okay. Aren't those about the same? Actually, the ice cream trucks, when I was a little kid, they were Jeeps. And the guy had a bell on a roll bar up above him, and he would pull on you could see him pulling on the chain while he was driving. 99 what 99? 99 what? I must have missed something. Oh. I see it. Joe asked Chris how 99 YDM he sold to him was. Nice. For sure. An old yellow cab? Why not an old checker cab? Checkers, those cars are nearly indestructible. For sure, if I'm doing a demolition derby, I want to do it in like a car from the 40s. Those things are... Man, you can run those things into a tree at full speed and not even dent them. You'd end up knocking the tree over. Of course, you'd fly through the windshield, which wouldn't be DOT-safe glass. You'd be laying dead, bleeding to death next to the tree, but your car wouldn't be hurt. They were pulled because of their crash impact on other cars? I didn't realize that. I just thought VW vans were just dangerous. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Took a real dark turn. Well, folks, I do need to go. I do need to get to work. I do appreciate everyone stopping by. And come to the auction on Tuesday evening. First of all, come to Jessica's auction here in a couple of hours. We're talking about 3 o'clock Central Time today. It's going to be right here on this channel. And then we're going to do the auction on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where I will be selling our next week's batch of reveals. So make sure you show up then in order to get in on some of these reveals for later. All right, folks, you guys have a very fun Super Bowl Sunday. And let's hope that our chosen team wins. And I'll see you guys later.